You step into your own daughter's kitchen. The door barely creaks, and before a single soul looks up, that soft little word slips out of you. Sorry, an apology for nothing but arriving. And today we trace that habit all the way back and set it down for good. Before we begin, if you believe our later years can be strong, peaceful, and full of worth, subscribe to this channel. We are walking this road together. Now, sorry for what exactly? For arriving, for breathing in a room you helped build. You raised children under that roof. You wiped that counter 1,000 times. And still, the moment your foot crosses that doorway, out comes the little apology, quiet as a breath, as if your own presence needs an excuse. If that little sorry has ever slipped out of you at your own family's door, you already know exactly what I mean. Here is what that word really carries. Somewhere along the way, you started to believe your presence was a favor, a kindness other people were good enough to allow, not a right you own, a privilege they grant. So you take up as little room as you can, and you say sorry to make sure nobody minds that you came at all. And it shows in the smallest things. Watch yourself sometime. You soften your voice when you'd rather speak plainly. At the table, you reach for the smaller portion, the end piece, the one nobody else wants. You slide to the very edge of the sofa so no one feels crowded, folding your hands in your lap, making yourself into a smaller shape than the good Lord ever intended. You set your handbag down without a sound. You wait to be offered the chair instead of simply taking it. A lifetime of shrinking 1 quiet inch at a time until being small started to feel like being polite. So let me say this to you clearly. The way an old friend would across the kitchen table with the coffee going cold. You are not too much. You never were. That word at the door is not the truth about you. It never was. It is a coat you were handed a long time ago and told to wear. And you have carried it so long, you forgot it isn't yours. Because here is the thing that ought to stop you cold. A grown, capable woman, a woman who ran a household, held a family together, weathered storms that would flatten most people, does not learn to apologize for existing all by herself. Nobody is born saying sorry for taking up space. Someone taught her. And that sorry did not begin in your daughter's kitchen. It began in a kitchen much older than hers, decades ago, in the very first lesson you were ever praised for learning, how to be no trouble at all. No trouble at all. That was the highest praise a little girl could earn in that house, and you earned it well. You wiped the counter before anyone asked. You spoke softly. You learned that when you took up less, the grown-ups smiled at you, and that smile felt like being loved. So you kept it up. You made yourself easy, quiet, tidy, no bother. And every time the reward came back to you like warm bread. A child does the thing that gets her love. You were no different. You just did it so well that it stopped feeling like a choice and started feeling like who you were. Then you grew up and married, and the same lesson followed you right through the door. You learned to take your own needs and shrink them down to whatever space was left over after everyone else was fed. You called it keeping the peace. You called it being a good wife. And in a way it was, but look at the price of it. Here is the picture I want you to sit with. A full family table, voices going every direction, and you at the edge with something true to say about your own life, your own choice, your own opinion, and you feel it rise in your chest. Then you fold your napkin in your lap and you swallow it down with a smile and you say nothing at all. Your tea goes cold beside you. How many times, honestly, how many times did you sit at that table and hand your own last word away? And here is what I have come to understand late in my own life. And I wish someone had told me sooner. That apology was never really yours. You did not come into this world knowing how to make yourself small. Someone taught you gently without meaning any harm. A habit handed to you, one small surrender at a time. Every time you shrank and got a smile back, the lesson set a little deeper. That is all it ever was. A habit, not a truth about you. Tell me in the comments, how old are you and which of these truths did you need to hear today? And if this is reaching you, take a moment and subscribe so you never walk this road alone. Now, gently, a harder thing. Notice who benefits when you stay small. A good person, a good husband, a good child, a good friend is glad to make room for you. They want your last word. They lean in to hear it. But if there is someone who only warms to you when you stay quiet and convenient, who cools the moment you take up space, that is worth seeing clearly. Not to blame a soul, just to notice the behavior and to believe what it shows you. Because if the sorry was only ever a habit, then it can be unlearned. A habit handed to you can be handed right back. And it comes down to a handful of real words that replace the sorry, words you can say the very next time you walk into a room. Here they are. Instead of sorry for asking, you say thank you for waiting. Feel the difference in your mouth. One of them spends your dignity like small change. The other keeps every bit of it and hands a little warmth to the person in front of you at the same time. You are still kind. You are still gracious. You are just no longer paying for the privilege of opening your mouth. Thank you for waiting. Try saying it out loud right now in your own kitchen. It sits so much better than sorry ever did. And here is the second one. Instead of sorry to bother you, you say, I have something to say. That is all. No flinch, no shrinking, no folding yourself into the leftover space at the edge of the table. You have a voice and you have earned the right to use it about your own life. So you let it be heard. I have something to say. 6 little words, and every one of them belongs to you. Then comes the part I love most. You walk into the room at your full height, shoulders back, chin level, unhurried. You step through that doorway and you do not fill the quiet with an apology just because no one has spoken yet. You let the silence be comfortable. You let it just sit there, easy, the way silence sits between two old friends who have nothing to prove. You do not owe the room a single sorry for being in it. Now picture this, because this is the whole thing right here. A slow morning. You pour your coffee into your favorite mug, no rush, watching it fill. You carry it to the good chair, the one by the window where the light comes in soft, and you sit down in it. Yours. You take up exactly as much room as you please, and there is no guilt anywhere in you, none, just peace, warm as the cup in your hands. That, my dear, is what we came here for. That is the sorry finally staying home. Now, one gentle word before we go on, because taking your place also means guarding it. For the big decisions about your home, your money, your health, do not carry those alone and do not hand them to just anyone who smiles at you. Lean on a trusted professional. You chose yourself. That is not weakness. That is a strong woman protecting what she has earned. So the very next time you step into a room, try it. Let the sorry stay home and just stand there. That is your right, because you earned your place at every table you have set, in every conversation you have carried, in your own good life. You were never too much. You never were. All those years you made yourself small so the house would run smooth, so no one would be troubled. So the space you took would fit in whatever was left over all those years. The room was already yours. And from today, that soft little sorry stays home. You walk in, you sit in the good chair, you drink your slow coffee, and you take your full place. Quiet, certain, worthy of every inch of it, because the room was always yours to stand in.